Hello geeks and gamers, Matt Lemke here with Through Gamer Goggles, and today we have another figure forge for you. This one is Qesnef the Ogre Mage from Gale Force 9's Dungeons & Dragons Collector Series. Qesnef is the Ogre Mage that was in White Plume Mountain. And he's going to go together pretty quick, actually. He's a highly detailed model, as you can tell. Very little, well, there was a little bit of cleanup on his side here. That was about it for the whole model. And then there's the halfling form, which is one piece, so there's like no assembly. The base, and his little stack of books. So we're going to actually start with him. Put a little drop of glue there. Now, if you're doing this at home or, well, anywhere, be careful what you do it on, because the hole goes all the way through. And, well, obviously you're going to get glue through. And I'm going to offset him because the books go on the stand with him. I'm going to try and get the most space. The most space out of it. Because I don't think I'm going to glue the books on right away. I didn't use enough glue. So I'm just going to put it in the bottom. Like that. Push him, whoa. Push him down a little bit. Hold him there. And then I'm going to figure out where I want his books to be. I think they should be in front of him. So I am definitely going to paint books separate, and I'm not going to glue them on just yet. I don't think I like it behind them. I like it like off to the side. Maybe I can turn this enough. Maybe I like that. You can turn it just enough that it's to the front, and his books can still be on the base next to him. That's what's going to happen. I'm having a little bit of dilemma getting him in there. He doesn't want to stay. Oh, I got him. Now the other thing too is the edges of the base are a little bit rough, but you can do a couple of things. You can just scrape it with a knife. Some 500 grit sandpaper works really well. It doesn't take hardly anything to smooth that out. And then again, of course, you don't need to use these bases. You can use whatever bases you want. You can buy new ones. Actually, I think I am going to put it over there. I like the binding to the front. I might even overhang it just a little bit when I do it. But again, there's not a lot of room to paint there, so I'm not going to assemble that and put it on yet. And there is a little bit of cleanup on the bottom here. Just a little. And I did that with a knife. Just enough to make it so it can glue. Oops. I just went like this with a knife. Just enough that it could be glued down. Now, I'm going to start our Ogre Mage friend off the same way. I'm going to glue him to the base first. Because I think it's going to be easier to work with him that way. And this time I'm going to put the glue on his foot, and on his foot, and a little bit at the rim here. And I'm going to hold him until he dries. Well, not until he dries, but until he's dry enough to work with. Which with super glue can be a long time or not. It all depends on how well it bonds with the material. Which apparently, it's not liking it. I'm using zip kicker, yeah. Zap-A-Gap glue, which is usually pretty good with bonding with plastic materials. It also depends on humidity, temperature, moisture in the air. Well, that would be humidity. Duh. And his foot's going to be here, so I'm going to put a little bit right there. Hair dryer, anyone? And then we're going to do his tunic belt piece, which actually goes in the back, I believe. Yeah. Oh, I'm a liar. It's like a part of his shirt. And it goes there. And it tucks in to his shirt there on the bottom. Oops. And it's a pretty good fit. It's not tight enough to keep it there like that. And supposed to fit in there to create a little bit of a loop. I would recommend that you're going to want to paint this beforehand. The other thing you might want to do is use a hairdryer to soften that and bend it to make it fit. And that will work. It doesn't take a lot of effort. See if I have enough hands to make this work. Now, I did create a painting nightmare for myself there. So like I said, at home, you're probably not going to want to do it this way. But this is a figure 4 to show you how the model goes together. Then again, if you have a piece that needs to be bent, like mine did, and still does, you might want to do that. You might want to do this first anyway because of the heat that's involved. I don't know what the heat will do to the acrylic paints. Okay, now the sword arms. Be very careful with them because they are very fragile. And again, if you need to bend them, don't try and force it while it's in its hard state. Get a hair dryer, hold it over some boiling water. That piece goes like that. So we're going to put some glue in there. And I'll hold it there till it dries. The next piece goes in like that. Now you might have noticed, well, I'll talk about that in a second. There's a couple little bubbles in there from the resin not spinning all the way through, not settling in. And we'll talk about that. You can do a lot with that. You can make those battle damaged or not. I'm going to lift. Well, I can't because of the square peg. I wanted a little bit more lift, but I guess I'm not going to get it out. You could just put those pits there. You can fill them with epoxy. You can sand them down. I would recommend that if you're going to do anything like that, you fill them with the epoxy. Or you can just take your knife, put something nice and hard underneath it, take your knife and put a little gouge in there to make it look like it's battle damage. But obviously, if you take your knife to this piece here like this, you're going to break it right about here. And then it's going to be almost impossible to fix. I mean, super glue. But then when you transport your model back and forth, you're going to have some dilemmas trying to keep them in one piece. And that is the figure forge for Qesnef, the Ogre Mage with his halfling form and the Ogre Mage form. It took about 15 minutes. Most of that was drying time. It's been a figure forge with Matt Lemke from Through Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. If you're watching this video on our blog and you like what you've seen, please click on any of the social media links on the right-hand side of your screen to follow us. Thank Gale Force 9 for great models. And if you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel so you can keep in touch with us. I'd love to hear your comments about the model, what you'd like to see from us maybe, what kind of models you need help with. That's why we're here. Thanks and have a good day.